Ari Aster has made a name for himself specifically in the horror genre. Directing and writing, Aster continues to scare us, bringing classic elements of the genre to a new audience. Only with now 3 feature films to his name, Ari has brought amazement to film heads and casual viewers alike, making him a director to look out for. In his new feature film, Beau is Afraid, Ari continues to bring fear to the big screen, but unlike his previous films, Beau is Afraid is different. In 2011, Ari Aster made a short film titled Beau. A neurotic middle-aged man's trip to visit his mother is delayed indefinitely when his keys are mysteriously taken from his door. He is subsequently haunted by an increasingly sinister chain of upsetting events. This short was really the inception to now his feature film of Beau is Afraid. And although some said this film would never have been made, look at it now. Beau is Afraid kept much of the ideas of the short, but now obviously with a bigger budget and a fuller story. If you like any of Ari's previous films, you'll appreciate Beau is Afraid. It's a film that explores Ari's full understanding and fondness of cinema. Ari's unique yet somewhat relatable stories come to life in every frame. Although not for everyone, Beau is Afraid pushes you to the end of your anxiety, building suspense like a setup to a punchline, which makes perfect sense in this truly dark comedy. Watching Beau is Afraid, you'll begin to realize recurring themes in Ari's work, which are becoming his signature elements. Looking at Ari's filmography, you can see how much of a fan of the horror genre he is, as he pays respects to his favorites. But if you look at his complete body of work, there is a different element that Ari touches on, even more so than horror, and that is family drama. Let me take you back to what put Ari Aster on the map. Before there was Hereditary, there was The Strange Thing About the Johnsons. This movie is really disturbing. Just like in Midsommar, the topics in the film are so sinister, but are contrasted with the film's bright color palette. The Strange Thing About the Johnsons introduced a lot of people to Ari's work, as he explores a family's secret of abuse, neglect, and incest. This short exemplifies the depths of how far Ari is willing to take his viewers, and how important family dynamics are in the psyche of the individual.
You're my friend. You're my best friend. And maybe we can just agree that that's a beautiful thing, and not something to be perverted and corrupted and mutilated by your warped and confused conscience.
The haunting of a family is something that you continue to see in Ari's work. In Midsommar, we begin with the woman losing her sister and parents to a self-deletion incident, and in Hereditary, a family derails from the loss of a daughter. Trauma brings the worst out in people, and in these 2 films at least, no one in the family is necessarily evil, but the situation of it all scares us. There's themes of love and loss and guilt sprinkled everywhere. Playing with what is taboo is just what happens in Ari's films. In Beau is Afraid, we see a complex relationship between a parent and her child. One can clearly see the devouring mother trope that Aster has played with in the past. Introducing Munchausen. This is a story about a mother's fear of losing her child as he leaves to college. In this film, we see so much emotion placed on the characters and what they go through. Aster doesn't necessarily scare you by what he shows, instead he scares you on how you feel. But even before so, Ari was very vocal about his film's influences and how they affected him. He mentions the film Carrie, which I think is the best example of the devouring mother. He cites it as a film that traumatized him when he was young.
Which is like candlelit house. That like blissful smile on her face as she's trying to kill her daughter.
We pray for the last time.
I feel like there are a lot of images in Hereditary where I'm because that film had such a deep effect on me. Like I don't think I could make a horror film where I'm not in some way like recalling that.
What makes Ari Aster's work stand out from his contemporaries is his way of dismantling the family, something so sacred to many. The truth is, no one can really hurt you like family can. The trauma of family events scar you much like Ari Aster's films aim to do. In a 20 Questions interview, Ari Aster states, "I want to make movies that stay with you." Family tragedy has been what has connected most of his films together. In all of Ari Aster's films, we see this reoccurring theme of familial relationships and how the trauma of that has shaped the way of these events unfolding. To me, Beau's Afraid is so genre bending that it is so different from Hereditary and Midsommar, but it's so familial to Ari Aster. And what I mean by that is that in this film, Beau's Afraid, we see so many different elements and ideas that were kind of played around with in his short films. And those different aspects have been put into this film, and it's cool to see that Ari Aster is building his signature themes and his signature elements that we continue to see in all his films. And that's where Family Tragedies comes into play. Although not for everyone, Ari Aster's films are very thought-provoking and offer a unique perspective on the horrors that can arise from familial relationships. I'm excited to see what he does next. Thank you all for watching.